Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cancer New Moon reading. I'm sure there's lots of readings out here about this Cancer New Moon, and they're all going to have their own unique interpretations. But I think an overall effect of this is going to be a very, very healing time. Like, it may feel a lot like a full moon as well. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with it. So you could feel, and like cancers of, they can be very emotional. And it depends on the person, the Cancerian, and kind of like their journey on how they contain those emotions, like utilize those emotions. There's like very different ways that they can do it. So just like that, there's a lot of different ways that this new moon is going to come about for people. I think some people are probably going to feel just fine. Like, nothing really happening. But I think for others, there are going to be some inner stuff. This isn't, I don't feel like this is a really big thing that's going to affect our outside worlds. So real quick, before we get into it, we have our Patreon up and running. I'm so glad that we decided to do this again. I'm actually really enjoying rolling out the content there. I've already got several readings up for everybody too. So if you'd like to join our Patreon and help to support us and this channel, you can head on down. The information is in the description box, but you can check that out. I'm getting the mid-month readings rolled out on Patreon by Monday morning. So I'm going to be working on them all weekend. And Monday morning, the mid-month readings for the second half of July, tarot readings are going to be rolled out. And there's a whole bunch of astrology information already on there, like all the stuff that's going on here in July. I've done readings for. So head on over there. If you'd like to have one place to go to get all of your astrology content instead of having to go here and here and here and here and here. That was kind of my idea. I was like, because I know that that's what I used to do. I used to go to all sorts of different places to get astrology content and information. So this hopefully can be very helpful for everybody. So let's take a look and see. Also, my schedule is open for July. I have some space still in the second half in the last 2 weeks of July. So would love to see you guys. I'm going to be changing up my offerings on my website for August. So those live readings with me are not going to be as accessible. So make sure that if you want to get a live reading with me, get that taken care of. I'm just saying. Cancer New Moon 2023. This is in whole sign. Hold on. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me change. Oop. Okay. Doesn't really matter, actually. It could be in whole sign or this, or just depends on how you like to read the chart. So Cancer New Moon happening Monday, July 17th, 12:32 p.m. Mountain Time. So it'll be 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time and 11:32 a.m. Pacific Time. And then, of course, across the world, I don't know those time zones. You'll have to look it up for yourself based on the ones I just gave you. 24 degrees, really at the 25th degree, 24 degrees and 56 seconds. So really at the 25th degree. And the moon will then quickly oppose Pluto directly after perfecting. And the moon will oppose Pluto just hours after this perfecting, and the nodes will regress back to Aries and Libra just hours after the new moon perfects. We have Mercury breaking away from a square with Jupiter. And so this already, with the moon being opposite Pluto, these Cancer new moons have felt like full moons for me. That's been a lot of it, because there's a lot of that inner, like you could have that inner emotional ego battle with yourself, depending on where this is happening in your chart. For Libra risings, it's happening in their 10th and their 4th house, which is me, a Libra rising. But there are, you know, so wherever it is, wherever the full or the new moon is going to be happening in your chart, you may find that things are ending, or you may find that there's, you know, some kind of inner ego battle. Like if you and your ego have not come to terms with certain aspects of your life, you may find yourself in an ego battle with yourself. I find in life that we are fighting with ourselves more than we're fighting with anybody else anyways. We just think that we're fighting with other people, when in fact we're actually fighting with ourselves most of the time. And, you know, so this could really be that full moon effect where either, you know, that inner turmoil is inside and you say something, because we have Mercury here in Leo that does not stay quiet. Leo doesn't stay quiet about things. I'm a Mercury in Leo, actually. This is my Mercury return, just about 10 days after the new moon is my Mercury return. But there's this, or yeah, something like that. But yeah, so there's this, you know, this desire for change that's happening. And with the Cancer new moon, you know, Cancer, you know, the moon is at home in Cancer, feels very at home there in Cancer. And there's a need to be able to contain, you know, give yourself that safe container to be able to feel the entirety of the emotions that are coming up, because then you're not projecting that onto other people. You're allowing yourself to feel it instead of shoving it deep down inside. Because anything that happens inside of, you know, that inner turmoil that we have inside of us, that debating, that discourse, that stuff that we do to ourselves, that, you know, the overthinking, all of the things, right? All of the negative self-talk stuff, those battles that we have with ourselves, if we shove them deep down inside and we internalize them, they can create dis-ease in our body. But if we externalize them and we say the things and we're not very nice about it, it can create shifts and large transformations in our lives. So I feel like in a big way, this new moon, you know, this is like, I've been talking about July being the month of learning emotional maturity, because there are so many oppositions to Pluto, and Pluto is that, you know, the death and transformation cycle within all of us. And, you know, it's funny because there's always this argument about whether the outer planets actually matter in a person's life. And I can hands down tell you that Pluto matters in my life, wherever he's transiting, whatever's happening. Like Pluto has been very vocal about being in my life. So, you know, this might be one of those times where, you know, we're feeling very, very emotional about things, and where there's closure that's happening and a brand new beginning, like right behind it. And that could mean that could be translated in so many ways in everybody's lives. And you know, and to get a clue on what area of your life that might be happening in, wherever Cancer is transiting at the 24th, 25th degree, in your natal chart. Venus is chasing Mars. They're going to meet in a few days. Mars is forming an opposition with Saturn that's retrograde, Mars in Virgo. This opposition happens exact on the 20th, so just a couple of days after that. And, you know, that can really cause a lot of arguments. And I think with Saturn retrograde right now, there's sort of I feel like this passive undertone that's sort of happening. Like I feel, and it's funny because everybody's talking about a lot of it, but I feel like we're all just kind of biding our time. Like something, it feels like we're building to something. And Mars opposing Saturn can definitely come out as an aggressive behavior from other people. And so we're sort of building with that with this new moon as well. And then we have this square, this Pluto square to the nodes. So the nodes will be regressing to Aries and Libra just a couple of hours after the new moon perfects. Mentioned that. And there's a lot of, and it regresses to 29 degrees. So it's going to be square Pluto at this 29 degrees in Capricorn, which is doing some pretty good damage on his own. I think that there are a lot more structures that are falling. And I think that the way that people are acting right now is really reflecting the fear of these old structures that are falling and they have to fall. And we have to remember that evolution takes time. You know, it's not something like a lot of changes can happen overnight, but not many, because, you know, as Saturn likes to remind us, it takes a long time to build something really, really good. That's a solid foundation. So Capricorn, you know, and let's not forget that the United States has been going through their Pluto return as well, with Pluto and Capricorn at these late degrees. So I've forgotten what that I've forgotten what that degree is in the United States chart. And I keep like wanting to look, but I forgot what that degree is. So anyways, so there are structures that are falling now, and it makes people really, really uncomfortable. Things need to change. And with the North Node moving into Aries and the South Node moving into Libra, which I did a reading for on Patreon. So if you want to know how it's going to affect you based on your rising sign, that reading is available on Patreon. But yeah, so the North Node in Aries with that Mars energy just wants to take action. I feel like this is going to be something big's going to happen. Like, I don't want to be the astrologer that tries to predict things. I just feel like this is where that buildup of energy is kind of happening. And this square is going to be, so Pluto will be square the nodes at 29 degrees and then also at 28 degrees until early August, when the nodes finally move back to 27 degrees and they start breaking away from each other. But, you know, now as we're forming that square, this weekend could be very eventful with a lot of tension happening. You know, we're sitting right here at this 0 degree of the, you know, with the North nodes. And, you know, some people aren't going to notice the shift, and some people are really, it's going to be very blatant with some of the things that are happening in your life. You know, again, based on wherever those nodes are going to be shifting. But I do think that, you know, so like pay attention to the news stories and stuff. Like, I'm not one to, I mean, I don't really even watch the news that much. Don't really know a lot that's going on in the world. So I don't want to like pretend that I think I can predict anything. I'm not that kind of astrologer, but I do think that the energy is building to something. So I would be very interested to see that and how it does manifest in the world as well. We also are going to have the moon is also going to be trine Neptune. So it's just going to be a little emotional. It's going to be one of those times to recognize what's coming up and allowing yourself to deal with it, like really allowing yourself to take a look at it and deal with it. Some people may be a little delusional, honestly, too, but I think that, just, some of us just want to feel better. And I think that this new moon is kind of helping us move into a different era. I don't know. It feels like a really big change. It feels like a big shift. It feels like something new, big and new really is happening with this new moon. So that's my professional and intuitive guidance for that. Okay. So surrendering. What is it with the power of surrender cards? What it is? What is it? What it is? What is it? Nice that we are surrendering for this new moon. So we've got two of them. The first one I'm really digging, surrender to rest and sleep. To prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. I know a few people in my life that could really do with surrendering to rest and sleep. And then surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend some time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. Absolutely. Surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Get connected with Gaia during this very emotional new moon. Like, ask what it is that we're going to be releasing for ourselves and what it is that we're bringing in for ourselves, because I feel like that is really the thing that's going to be happening. Is there's going to be a release so that space is made. And I know that that sounds very full moon-esque, but honestly, that's just, sometimes we got to change the way that we believed things, right? Like things don't always have to be exactly the same as they've always been. But this is definitely a time for you to go inward and for you to connect to nature and for you to allow yourself to rest and sleep. It is easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and in like what I have to get done and what I have to do and what I have to accomplish and all of those expectations that we put on ourselves, and the expectations that we feel like other people are putting on us, when in reality, most of the time, unless you have a really cranky boss, you're putting those expectations on yourself. I know that I usually am the one that's putting, nobody else wants anything from me other than like what I'm already giving them. So I'm always putting, it's crazy. So, all right, let's see without losing it. Okay. We have the Queen of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. I kind of want to get one more. This feels like it's about finding that self-esteem, or finding, this feels very specifically strange here. Okay. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have the Lovers. And we have the King of Wands. I feel like somebody's feeling left out of this trio of people. I wouldn't necessarily go with the genders, even though I said queen or king. Like, it can be anybody. The Queen of Swords is somebody who is very direct. She is kind of like, she has her ideas. She might be a little tunnel visioned, overthinks quite a bit. The Queen of Pentacles is a little bit more grounded. She doesn't really overthink a lot, but sometimes she can be a little bit stubborn and stuck in her ways. And then the King of Wands is, he's a really confident ruler. He is somebody who, makes decisions because he has either like been through it already. Like, he's somebody who's like been through the fire. And so that's why he's confident in making the decisions, not just because like he thinks that he can, but like he's very resilient and he knows that. And so he's confident with himself in making decisions and like ruling his kingdom because he knows, what he wants it to look like. He's very confident in it. Okay. And then the Five of Pentacles is feeling left out. Now I have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles here flanking the Five of Pentacles. So it does feel very much like someone is keeping someone else out. And like, I almost want to say that it feels like it's a love triangle and someone is feeling left out and someone feels like they think that this is the one, or like this is what's going to make them whole, when the Lovers is actually saying the two parts of you are going to make yourself whole, not somebody from the out. Nobody else can complete you in the way that you can complete yourself, just period. You complete yourself, and what everybody else does for you after that is an added bonus to loving yourself. So let's see. Queen of Swords, clarifying. Okay, so the Queen of Swords feels like a boss. Oh, interesting. Okay. Three of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. So someone is pining. I hate to say that. The Devil on the Queen of Swords. So if you're the Queen of Swords, you're learning a lesson. The Queen of Swords is learning a lesson right now. This could also be work related. She could be the boss. But I feel like either you're learning a lesson from her or she's learning a lesson right now. And in one of those lessons, that in this whole situation is to speak. I feel like the Page of Wands is saying you got to speak up. There's something about like whoever it is, whoever you are in here, right? There's got to be communication. If somebody is feeling left out of a situation, there's got to be some kind of communication here. Page of Wands on the Five of Pentacles. It's like not our responsibility to make other people feel better, but if we're leaving information out, or if we're leaving certain things out of the conversation and the other person is feeling like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, I got to have puzzle pieces put together here. Like, it feels like if there's, just the Page of Wands makes me feel like in order for you to get out of that lack mentality, you got to speak up. And I'm talking to whoever's watching the reading. In order for you to get out of that lack mentality, you got to speak up. And I think that whoever's watching the reading is the Queen of Swords. the Page of Swords on the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Swords came out in reverse. And that's like nasty talk. Like somebody's being horrible. Somebody's being really mean on that Queen of Pentacles. So whoever the Queen of Pentacles is, like, I feel like they're projecting is what that Page of Swords is. It feels like they're projecting on that Queen of Pentacles. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles on the Lovers. So there are steps that are being taken. You know, you're taking the steps to come into union, and whether that's coming into union with yourself or whether that's coming into union with somebody else, there are steps being taken, right? Knight of Pentacles on the Lovers. And so you got to make sure that you're, you know, whether this is you starting a new relationship with somebody or whether this is you, not starting a new relationship, but whether this is you, like, yes, starting a new relationship or, you know, finding that wholeness within yourself. It's like all the steps that you have to take in order to get there. And the Knight of Pentacles is very methodical. He pays attention to where he's going. He's not rushing anything. Slow down, right? And then we have the Page of Cups on the King of Wands. And the Page of Cups is kind of that pining energy that I was talking about. There are 3 pages in this reading. So I feel like there's some kind of like, some of this is like, I'm like acting sort of being kind of childish or childlike. Some of it's childish, some of it's childlike with the Page of Cups. So I feel like this King of Cups or King of Wands is kind of pining. Like, I want to get there. I want it to happen. We have the 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And right under the 3 of Wands is the 6 of Wands. You're going to get there. 6 of Pentacles. Just balance it out, man. Stop giving all of your energy to the negative. The world, man, I could keep going on and going on and going on and going on. But at the end of all of this, you have to remember that the more you restrict yourself or feel restricted, like I feel like this lesson, this Queen of Swords lesson that's happening here, and honestly, you could be any of these people in this reading, but I feel like the Queen of Swords lesson here is to stop restricting herself. Like the devil is, those are like our own demons in our own mind, right? And you can eradicate them, you know, taming your own demons. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles, I think her lesson here is learning emotional maturity, because I feel like she's not saying things very nicely. And then I feel like the King of Cups, or King, oh my God, I keep calling him the King of Cups. I feel like the King of Wands is acting like the King of Cups, maybe. There's just this extra emotion that's coming out of the King of Wands here in this second half. And there's like this desire or this need or something like that. And so that's why I feel like communication is absolutely necessary, you know, and coming, like, centering with yourself, like this wholeness here, whether this is you uniting with another person or you becoming whole within yourself, either way, you don't want to rush it. It's not about getting to the finish line, because there isn't a, you know, like you're always going to be working on yourself, right? But there's this, you know, it feels like there's this restriction because there's like such a need. And I hope letting you know that you're going to be celebrating things very soon helps out a little bit. Okay. There's some cycles that need to end. I think there's some cycles that need to end. And then whatever it is that you're waiting for to show up for you in this 3 of Wands, it'll finally be able to have its day. All right. I love you guys. I hope to see some of you on my schedule. Would love to do some readings with you. And in the Patreon. We're going to keep building that. And I'm really excited for things to come. So hope to see you guys there. Love you. Bye.